Let's take a look at how you solve for the interest rate. For example, you might have a certain amount of money in the bank and you want it to grow to a certain future value during some specific period. So you'd like the money to grow from $100 to $200 in 5 years. What rate of return do I have to earn in order for that to happen? So how do we solve that? Well, here we have the basic future value equation. Future value equals present value times 1 plus the interest rate raised to the tth power, where t is the number of periods that we're compounding over. So if we know future value, present value, and t, we can solve for the interest rate r. How do we do that? We can divide, we just do a little algebra. We divide both sides by PV, and you have 1 plus r to the tth power. We have to get that t out of the exponent here, and we can do that by raising both sides to the 1 over t power, and that will remove it from the right hand side of the equation. And we subtract 1 from both sides, and I'll just rearrange the terms so the thing we're solving for is on the left hand side of the equation. So the interest rate is going to be future value over present value. Take the 1 over tth power and subtract 1. So suppose you put $100 in the bank for 5 years and you want it to be worth $150 when you withdraw it in year 5. What rate of return did you earn, or do you need to earn in order to get that? So you can look at it from two ways. I want it to be worth $150. What rate of return do I need so that it will be worth $150? Or you can say I put $100 in the bank and it's worth $150 5 years later. What return did I earn? So using that formula, future value over present value, 150 over 100, raised to the 1/5 power, minus 1, we get 0.0845 or 8.45%. If we'd like to do this on a financial calculator, it makes it a little bit easier for us. To clear the workspace, we're going to use these time value of money function keys, N, I/Y, PV, PMT, PV, FV. We don't need PMT, we don't have an annuity. So to clear this, it's second clear TVM. So above the FV key, it says CLR TVM. And it's 5. We don't know what the interest rate is. You're going to have to put the present value in as a negative number. That is because it's a cash outflow. You've taken money out of your pocket and put it in the bank. The future value is a cash inflow, so that's a positive number, 150. And then we can just say compute CPT I/Y, and we get that 8.45%. Likewise, you can also do this in Excel. The Excel function is not called R, it's called rate, and the number of periods is not N, it's NPER. So it's going to be equal rate, and it's going to tell you, you don't have to remember in what order this is. I'm going to go to Excel in a minute, but when I do, what it's going to do is it's going to tell you what comes next. Number of periods, and then PMT, PV, FV, the type. Type has to do with an annuity, whether the cash flow is paid at the beginning of the period or the end of the period. Beginning of the period is called an annuity due. End of the period, or 1 period from now, is considered an ordinary annuity. And you can give it a guess as well. So what you would put in is 5 periods, no PMT, minus 100. So you have to do the negative here, cash outflow, and then 150. So let's see if we can do that in Excel. I've put these numbers in here, and I'm going to do this equals rate. So if you've used Excel before, you have to start with an equal sign. If you don't start with the equal sign, it's going to think you're typing a title or a label. When you put the equal sign in, you're telling it you want a calculation. Now you can't see it very well on your computer screen, but it asks for NPER. It's bold-faced. So the number of periods is 5. And then you separate these with a comma. It asks for PMT. We don't have a PMT, so I'm going to put in a 0. You could alternatively just put comma, comma. So there's nothing in between the commas. It'll treat it as 0. I have 100 here, and I'm going to do this incorrectly. I forgot to make this a negative number, and I'll show you that you'll get an error message if you don't have negative 100 for the present value. You get that num message. So let me change this to minus 100, and we get 8%, and you need to expand the decimal places, and you can do so up here with this. Can't see it very well, but it has some zeros and it has an arrow pointing to the left, and I can increase them and I get 8.45%. So exactly the same as we got on the financial calculator and from using the formula. So I hope you found this useful, and thanks for watching.